Alright everybody, welcome back. Kanan here, and thanks for joining me for my sales video. Yep, you're going to get some decent sales this week, and hopefully you'll be picking some up. Oh, and if you've got any suggestions, please feel free to leave them down in the comments. And with a cheeky plug for you to subscribe to the channel, let's get on with it. And for the first video, it's going to be Curse of the Dead Gods, 70% off, $6.99. Curse of the Dead Gods is a skill-based roguelike that sees you entering a temple full of traps and enemies to make, well, unalive. That is, if they were alive in the first place. There's also a shed ton of weapons that you can use, melee and range, and even boss battles. And obviously, this being a roguelike, death will not be the end of things. In fact, it will probably be the start of many new runs. And given its 7.1 metascore, which places it above average, I would say this one's probably worth getting, just like hitting that subscribe button. Number 2, Call of Juarez Gunslinger, 80% off, £3.59, $3.99. Call of Juarez has an 8.0 out of 10 metascore, and I know why, because I played this one. If your fantasy is to take on all the badasses from the Wild Wild West in the old days, then this is probably the one for you. It does have a pretty decent story, and I have to admit that the actual gameplay is pretty decent as well. It's got one of those mechanics where everything slows down, you pick your targets and then see the results play out in front of you. Some of the set pieces have that wow factor as you're playing the actual game, and admittedly I sunk a good amount of hours playing Call of Juarez, and although it's not the most longest game, I think for that price and for what you get, it's incredible. And don't forget, if you have any deals you want to highlight, then leave them down in the comments, as more deals mean more savings. Number 3 this week is Vampire, 80% off, $7.99. London, 1918. You are newly turned vampire, Dr. Jonathan Reed. As a doctor, you must find a cure to save the city's flu-ravaged citizens. As a vampire, you are cursed to feed on those you vowed to heal.
Blah 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 blah.
Vampire has a pretty respectable 6.8 out of 10 metascore, and yeah, it's an oldie, but apparently it's still a goodie. And hey, it's set in London. There aren't that many games set in the UK, and I just had to put it on the list. And if you're still with me right now, then do hit that like button, it does help with the algorithm. And at number 4 this week, It Takes Two, 50% off, £17.49. Embark on the craziest journey of your life. A genre-bending platform adventure created purely for co-op. Invite a friend to join for free with Friends Pass and work together across a huge variety of gleefully disruptive gameplay challenges. And with an 8.9 metascore, you can probably guess that this is actually a decent game. Good story, kind of tugs at the heartstrings, no pun intended. I have to say, It Takes Two was a fun game to play, and also full of surprises. And talking about surprises, did you know that we have a Discord? If not, the link is down below. Come join our growing community. Which brings us to number 5, Elderang, 80% off, $3.99, £3.59. Through the darkness and madness, promised glory awaits. Heads will literally roll in this gruesome, retro-inspired action platformer, where only the strong will survive in brutal, skill-based combat against terrifying creatures. Elderang is a platformer with RPG elements that lets you customize your experience to best suit your gameplay. There's over 60 different enemy types and plenty of loot and weapons to collect along the way. There are loads of Lovecraftian creatures in order to discover and defeat, and it's all explored in a Metrovania way. And if you've got time, please do leave a comment down below, let me know what you do like about this video, and if there's things you don't like about it, then let me know them as well. Which brings us on to number 6, Fury Unleashed, 92% off, £1.50. Explore the pages of a living comic book, where ink is your most valuable resource and each room is a comic panel. Find out why John, Kowalski, creator of acclaimed Fury Unleashed series, is having a creative crisis, and see if you can help him deal with it. Fury Unleashed is a rogue light with soft permadeath, where you'll be making your way through procedure-generated rooms, choosing items to assist you, and also unlocking permanent upgrades. Fury Unleashed has a 7.4 out of 10 Metascore, and you have to admit it does actually look pretty decent. It's also got a 28.5 hour completion time, and that's the full game and everything. And I'm going to quickly go on to our 7th game, which is Very Very Valet. 80% off, £2.69 and $2.99. 1 to 4 players control an elite team of puppet valets to overcome any and all valet related challenges. You will need teamwork and park it anywhere mentality to solve this severe parking crisis. Time to become a very, very valet. Very Very Valet has a 7.5 out of 10 Metascore, and I can definitely say I agree with that. I played and reviewed it when it first came out and found it to be frantic and chaotic couch co-op valet parking sim. I quite enjoyed it. And at number 8 this week, What Remains of Edith Finch, 75% off, £4.49. And I do apologise if I just butchered that title. As Edith, you'll explore the colossal Finch house, searching for stories as she explores her family history and tries to figure out why she's the last one in her family left alive. And if that doesn't give you chills, then Aerith also has a 8.4 Metascore, and with it well deserved, as it does actually look pretty cool with its explorational, puzzle solving and just exploring inside and out. I'm kind of mildly interested to see how many of you have picked this one up, as I don't think I know anyone that owns it. Should I be picking it up? Let me know down in the comments. Which brings us nicely on to number 9, Guacamelee 2, 75% off, $4.99. Luchador Juan Arcate is out of retirement for a stunning new Metrovania-style adventure. Explore a huge handcrafted world inspired by Mexican culture and folklore, filled with sassy new villains and weirdos. Oh, and a few old friends too. Learn bone-crunching wrestling moves to fend off skeletal hordes and overcome skillful platforming challenges. And who said anything about a chicken Illuminati? Certainly not us. Guacamelee 2 has a 7.9 Metascore, and yeah, these games were quite well received. It also has drop-in 4-player local co-op, a brand new upgrade system, and a pretty decent Mexican electric music score. I'm pretty sure I own this game and the first one, and yeah, if I remember correctly, they were or are pretty decent games. It's just they're quite old and I haven't played them for a while. But if I remember correctly, I think I would actually still recommend them. And with that, please do hit that subscribe button if you've made it this far. If you haven't, then you're not listening to me right now. Thanks for joining me. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.